at your planet, and your planet is 7.5 million times larger than you are. So you're just like a little micron. You're not even 1/64 of 1 mile. And your planet is composed in distance of over 24,000. So your perception is deceiving you. For all you flat earthers out there. There's a lot of people that's starting to flat earth. It's starting to flat earth on out. And it's like, how is that going to help your grandmother in purgatory or in limbo? You know, you prioritizing the wrong, let's just call them idealisms, right? You're entertaining the wrong field. You up there worrying that the earth is flat or if it's a circle or a sphere, and you got a grandmother who did everything that she could for you. She in a bad spot. And she needs you to pour a libation for her. She needs somebody to remember her. Ain't nobody even attempting to deposit energy into her spirit. They don't even know that that need to be done. And we're quite dormant here in the Western world when it comes to making a spiritual connection, due to the being that generated this language doesn't have no divine connection. They don't. And you could just look at the ledger of their receipts, and it's full of blood. It's full of debauchery, right? It's full of a lot of malevolent things. And it's still going on right now. And as I put up in my story, you know, it's suboptimal, the effects of the Roman Empire paradigm, because it hasn't positively assisted anyone in the afterlife. It hasn't. However, it's highly responsible for sending a whole bunch of people to the afterlife. You hear me? Sent a lot of people to the afterlife. And a lot of you guys are using their terminologies, which is benefiting from your projections. You know, I remember early in my journey when I used to come across certain individuals and they'd be like, oh, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but I believe in God. And I'd be like, well, who is this God? I don't know. I just believe in it. You're a Pharaoh spirit. How do you know that your prayers is getting to that God if you don't know where that God is? If you don't know who that God is? It's like sending an email to somebody and you don't got their email address. They'll never get it. Now, there are beings that are watching you attempt to make a connection to something, and they'll intercept those projections and stand in, they'll become a placeholder to the psychosis that you've drawn up in your mind. These are called trickster beings, right? And they'll take on the fashion of what it is that you're perceiving to be. And this is why, as a lot of you guys know, I don't lead with no spiritual connection outside the range of what you've experienced in this dimension. This is why we talk about the dearly departed, your grandmamas and your granddaddy, you know, Mama Cheryl, you know, Papa Jeffro, pick you up in his pickup truck and go work on cars and have your ass with him. He let you drink a beer when you got to a certain age and, you know, told you how it was when he was growing up. And now he done passed over. Now you have a spiritual connection to someone that you had a human connection to during the duration of your life stream. That's a real connection. I'm not going to tell people to connect to any spook, apparition, or ideology that you can't confirm under your own volition. I would be doing you a disservice and undermining your intellect if I did that. Right? Because you got to remember, I didn't start off that way. That had to be brought to my attention. It had to be brought to my attention too. and I was, for like 14 years, I didn't know. Somebody had to hit me like, yo, man, you need to build an altar for your grandmama. You doing this and doing that and tapping into all these different beings and constellations. And every time you're doing it, your grandmama, and they're like, hey, baby, we can't, hey. It's like riding down the street past somebody's house and they standing outside and you've been knowing them all your life, but now you just ignored them. And they tried to call you and get your attention, but you just kept going. Right? All my astral travelers and astral projectors out there that don't have altars in their home and that are not utilizing any type of ritual in their life to make a connection to these beings, right? Because that's where your assistance is coming from. Because they still coursing through your veins. That's their blood coursing through your veins. That's not yours, right? You're borrowing that. And we got an event coming up next month at the end of July, July the 25th, the Ancestor Altar Activation Workshop. And I'm showing people how to configure an altar to where it's going to garner a result for you. Right? I don't know what you got going on or how your altar works or what you do with it. But guess what? If you follow my instructions and my directions, you're going to get exemplary results with your own people, not my people. This is the stuff that worked for me, right? This is what's working for me. And also my students and those that belong to our community, this stuff worked. The clan mother of our community, Mama Drina. Shouts out to Mama Drina. I got you, Mama Drina. You need to send me your address. Mama Drina, she already was into the EFA system when she came to me. I was already in it. She had 3 altars in her home. And she still took my discourse. Right? She still took the discourse. And you know what happened? She don't even use them other 3 altars no more. She's like, I'm not getting the same effect from them altars as I am from this one. Like, why is it happening like that? I said, shit, you got to go ask those people that did them other altars for you. I don't know. And the dude told her, I need $1,700 before I tell you anything. That's not cool. Do I charge for my discourse? Yes, I do. But I'm not going to treat your ass like some of these Obas be doing people. I'm not here to do all that. I'm going to show your ass how to fish. If you want to. Right? But that's the clan mother of our community. She was already working with an altar for 15 years when she came to me. And there was at least 7 or 8 things on that discourse she may not have been aware of. Right? And she's not the first person like that. It's a lot of people. I got over 40 students. Some people then remove themselves and they're able to function on their own, and that's fine. I don't feel offended by it or nothing. But they won't deny it. Nah, the shit this nigga showed me is fucking working. You're going to empower yourself. That's what a lot of people lack, is a sense of empowerment. They're not even enlightened enough to be empowered. Right? I just want you to be empowered and be able to be there for those that were capable of being there for you. Right? That's reciprocity. And when you're able to exhibit that to your progenitors, you start to gain the interest of the governors of this reality. Right? By default. You put your altar up and put a beacon of light to go through the color spectrum. All type of beings get alerted to what you're doing. All type of phenomenal things start happening for people. I mean, all the time. Hey, what can I say? We're in a new paradigm. The old paradigm has failed you. And there's nothing that there's no rebuttal for it. That's why I'm always going right to that word God. And we can go into El, Elo, and all that. I'll pull the rug from up under you. and offer you something equivalent or better than that interface that you got with that egregor, that apparition, that spook. The same thing that they said to the Malians when they approached the Dogon. They said that those people were savages. And they were putting their faith and belief into spooks and apparitions. And they told them about the Sirius star constellation, and they didn't believe them. It took them some odd 130 something years to catch up to what the Dogon was trying to show them while they were calling them savages. Now there are over 52, 54 countries in Africa, right? Some odd 80 something different tribes. And all of them have some type of customary tradition where they're perpetually giving reverence to those before them. Some people know their full lineage, going back a full millennia, right? And they've been doing the same things in the same type of way, in the same order, and they have their favor. They come over here and quantum leap right past you. Yeah, there were contingencies put in the way to make sure that we don't progress over here in the Western world, but we don't have to use that as an excuse because we know how to overcome those things. But these beings come over here and be held to the degree of scrutiny to where they're not in a position to progress. They have to come here and earn their way, and their ancestors and their dearly departed make a road for them to succeed, right? And I could already hear some of you guys in the ether, well, how come mine are not doing that for me? Because they haven't been fed. Their energy is still tethered to this dimension. They never turned on the circuitry of their higher senses. They didn't even know that it existed. They thought they was going to die and God was going to come get them. And that didn't happen. You know, some people's grandmothers, just happened to me twice this year, came to me and they asked me how come they progeny wasn't being receptive to what I'm saying. And I said, hey, I make myself available so people can get to know me some type of way, but you got to purchase something so I can get you on the phone. Because that showed me if you're serious or not. You went in to put that tech around your neck. I know you're not connected to nothing dark then. People that do dark things or have some blockages inside of them, they don't want to put on no organ, right? They know it repel that type of dormant energy. But these grandmothers will come to me, these elders, and they'll ask how come they're not receptive. And I have to let them know, like, yo, you wasn't receptive. You ain't pouring no libation for your grandmother while you was alive. So you can't get mad at your progeny because they're not receptive to this form of connection. Y'all thought Jesus was going to do everything. And it's been too much of that going on in the spiritual universe. Beings are not reconnecting to who they are. They still think that they who they was in this physical dimension, right? You predate this dimension. I be telling y'all that all the time. Right? Somebody has to let it be known. Can I get somebody in the chat? Can I get you to share the live with the people in the 1089 tech community? They don't be turning on people's notifications and letting them know that I'm live, man. That's fucked up. But that's how they do. That's how they do. And a lot of y'all gonna get it. But a lot of people don't get it. You know, let me hit my nephew up now. He was like, man, I want to catch you live. I don't never catch you. Hopefully he can catch this one. You know. Because my family is with me. You know, I got a few family members. My father, shouts out to my pops, and my sister, Amira. They both have altars in their home. And same thing for my cousins up in Detroit. They got altars in their home too. Then where can I get a shirt like that? Yes, you need to go to my website. If you go into my story and click on the QR code, or just go into the comment section. I mean the bio. You will see 1089techvision.com. Yeah, I'm doing 10% off for people. You know, you purchase your shirts and stuff. They 10% off. Just put in no, I think I put 20% off. Give me a 20% discount on the shirts. There goes Shamari. Yeah, Shamari, share the live with the community for me, loved one. People not tapping the screen. Thank you, Divine Starseed. Yeah, it says meditate on it. It's a Baruti original. I got a couple of other ones I'm working on. I got a full gallery of t-shirts, you guys, on the website. Go to OrgoniteTEK Wear, like the word behind me, OrgoniteTEK, OrgoniteTEK Wear. That's the tab on my website, and you can see all the t-shirts. I do hoodies, sweaters. Sometimes y'all see me with the ball caps on. Right? Got the Aya Haru, the Hadaraki, and others, right? I got polos. I ain't posted my polos yet, but I got polos too. I'm about to upgrade my polo and start getting them stitched in. Had a Hadaraki stitched into the shirt. Yeah, I'm stepping it up. Right? Stepping it up, pouring more into my brand. And with the guidance of the ancestors, because this is what I should have been doing 10 years ago. You know, I wasn't paying attention to my purpose. I wasn't aligning myself with my purpose. And your purpose is the things that you do on purpose with purpose, purposefully. Right? That's your purpose, whatever that is. You might not think it's nothing to it, but it is. Shit, I see people having Hot Wheel conventions. They got conventions for the Hot Wheels. So everybody got a purpose. You just got to know what your purpose is. The fastest way to find your purpose is to know who you are. And many people have a very vague, skeptical understanding of who they are. Because I keep telling you, you're not this body. You're not this body and you're not your mind. Those are utilities that you utilize in order to interface in this reality. You've been conditioned to believe that you're this body. And then they put a whole bunch of incantations and spells on you to condition you to accept the programming that keeps you trapped in this reality. And I give out a lot of good tidbits here on the TikTok, but even it's a plethora more in our private community offline in the Google chat. All you got to do is purchase a medallion from the website and make sure you leave your phone number. I'm going to call you, right? And I'm going to build with you for about an hour. We could do Q&A one-on-one, just like we do here. Or if you should need a consultation, I don't know what it is. But I go ahead and give you time to interface with me at that level. You know, an hour or more, just depends on how much substance your conversation has. That's going to determine how long we dialogue on the phone, right? But come join our community. It's growing every day. And shouts out to the 1089 Tech community and the AAA alumni and academy. Right? Shouts out to you guys. Shouts out to all of the community members that come out to the events and come get hit with the staff. A lot of you guys that's been in the community for a while, if you haven't been to an event, you need to get hit with the staff, right? Tell them, Nate Cherry, don't they need that staff? Don't that staff open some shit up for you? Shouts out to Dia Eyes Design. Dia Eyes go, she done been hit with the staff so much, she started to do readings on people while I'm hitting you with the staff. And that shit, we 1,000 for 1,000 with that method. After I hit people with the staff, she take you into the hallway, she tell you what you see, what she see. Now she's starting to perceive numbers and dates and times and all of that shit aligning for the people, man. Everything aligning for them. When are you going to come? Right? Some of you are being called. Some of you are drawn here because you got somebody on the other side that has not had a libation poured for them. No one has made an offering for them. No one has burned ancestor money for them. Right? No one is telling their stories. You follow? And they see that going on with me. They see Nate Cherry taking that initiative. They see it. And they wondering how come ain't nobody doing that for them. And what's occurring now is the plethora of beings up under my studentship, they sharing their offerings with some of y'all dearly departed. And so am I. And is motivating them to pull some of you guys into this space, because that's not their job to be doing that. That's yours. We don't owe them a debt of gratitude. You do. And all it's going to do is benefit your life. I'm not telling you something that's going to throw you off of your shit. It's going to alter your life when you have a functioning altar in your life. That's why it's called an altar. It's to change things around. And don't tell me that it's taboo or nothing for all you religious people. Because I could point out about 400 places in the Bible where they built the altar. Shit, Aaron built the altar and, decapitated a goat and, a lamb, a sheep, and spread his blood all over the altar. Right? Because his reptilian overlord suggested that he do so. But that's neither here nor there. That's just one time. Same thing with Noah. The first thing Noah, according to the scripture, when he got out the ark, the first thing he did was build a altar. It's the first thing he did. So altars are prevalent within the scripture, all throughout the scripture. And they're quite prevalent all over the world except for here. The altars here in the New World of North America, they got a flat screen. People got an altar for their TV. Most homes that you go into, people got a big shrine for the television. You put your offering down in front of the television when you put your plate of food there, right? Don't even pray over your food. Most people don't even pray over their food because they don't know who they're praying to. I attempt to give you an idea. That's why I tell you, the sun. People, hey, well, who do you pray to? The sun. I can see my source. You speculating about your source, but I can see mine. I can speak to mine and it responds back to me. I can ask mine for provision and it gives it to me in abundance. Then it tells me to check in with the secondary caretaker, the planet, which every component on you physically was deployed from the planet itself. You made up of all the minerals and elements of this planet, right? Then you got a third caretaker. That's your mother and your father and their mothers and fathers, right? You got to give them their appropriate acknowledgement. And if you start to do this on a consistent basis, those beings that outrank you spiritually on an evolutionary scale, they'll step in on your behalf and assist you, right? It's a multitude of beings that watch over this reality, right? And those multitude of beings, they allow you access to come here, right? They said, okay, yeah, go ahead, we can let that being through. You got to check in with the ancestor realm first, though. And see, a lot of y'all went to the custodians of those bloodlines that you incarnated into, and you told them that you would bring their bloodline out of dissension. You said that you would make your libations. You said you wouldn't forget, your elders. And the second you blew out them birthday candles, you forgot all about that shit. The second you went to school, some of y'all, you forgot about everything. It's like you got a memory wipe or something. And you just dial right on into the pentagram. And that's just what it is. And that's here in the Western world. But everywhere else in the world is different. But here, that's for your altar. You got it for your television. And you dress it up and you do all type of shit for it. But you ain't do nothing for your progenitors. And that has to be brought to our attention. Because I'm telling you, everything that the Proto-Indo-Euro has presented to you does not work for you. It doesn't. It benefits them, but it don't benefit you. You wanted it to benefit you. And you just put yourself under the psychosis that is benefiting. But you're not benefiting from that shit. It don't even look like you. And it's not helping nobody that has crossed over. It's not helping them. They disappointed because they've been unwittingly conditioned to accept that. You hear me? Unwittingly. Because they're not dead. It's just that the body is dead. It's not even dead. It's decomposing. It's decaying because they're no longer occupying that vessel. But they're still alive, or they still exist. To be more concise, they just exist on a frequency that's beyond the visible spectrum. And you can see beyond the visible spectrum, which is your mind's eye. Some people say their third eye, their first eye. But that's the aspect of you that has the ability to see beyond the visible spectrum, where these beings reside in a whole nother universe. But many of them are still tethered here because their blood is coursing through your veins. So it's an aspect of them that's still here because you're living. You're keeping that aspect of them alive on this side. Right? And you got autonomy to bypass this dimension into that dimension in a system. And if you do the appropriate things as far as constructing your altar, they could come across that gateway of their altar and assist you as well in a myriad of ways. But you have to be consistent. You have to be diligent and devoted and dedicated. I mean, you done did it for everything else. That shit ain't working for you. You might think it's working, but it's not. The joke's on you when it's time for you to go. You're like, damn, I thought this was gonna happen. I ain't know that. I thought I'm not dead. That's the biggest surprise. But I'm not alive. I don't have a body. But you still exist. And those with the first eye, whose first eye's open, they can see what's going on. They can see. It happened with my own sister. I'm telling y'all. It's like, man, how's you here? I said, I came here to see you at my granddaddy's house. She was in the pocket dimension. That's what the human afterlife is. It's a pocket dimension that isolates former humans that didn't turn on the circuitry of their higher senses because their consciousness can't register in the spiritual universe. They didn't even validate their own spiritual existence. So they're more tethered to this reality than to the spiritual universe. And until their consciousness is capable of expanding and realizing that they're not this dense form, then they can evolve beyond that threshold and be groomed for the spiritual universe. Some of them have to return back to Earth and go back through the halls of Amenti. Others gain access to the paradise realms and to the divine realms. Those whose soul has been educated to a degree where it has eradicated desire from his psyche. That could take 100,000 lifetimes to accomplish, because you're an eternal being attempting to be edified by a locality that is temporal. You follow? It's not eternal. You are eternal. And you're too expanded to exist in this dimension. So only a small unit of you is capable of being here. The best hyperbole I could give you guys is with the Legos, right? If you tried to have dinner or go to Starbucks in Legoland, you would crush all of Legoland. If you literally tried to sit there, you would have to go to the manufacturer and have them build you a Lego version of yourself. And you would have to take a micron of your essence and project it into that little Lego, just like they show you on the Lego movie. And now it's a Lego version of you moving around. And at first it started listening to you. Then it started having his ideas of his own, because you're too far removed from that reality. You're too expanded. And that's sort of what's going on with you now in one respect, as far as you operating on this planet, which is about a grain of sand within the tapestries of what makes up what you refer to as your galaxy. Right? When you scale the size of humans, your planet, your solar system is very quite minuscule on the seismic scale, right? It doesn't even register on within the visible spectrum. When you zoom all the way out, you can't even see where you exist at. That needs to be accepted. And it also needs to be comprehended in order for you to move forward. Are you not moving nowhere? You're already not moving nowhere. I was bringing I was like, man, it don't matter where you go, you still here on the planet. Oh, I'm about to go to Monaco. Oh, I'm about to go to Brazil. I'm going to be a long way away from you, but you still on the planet. You ain't went nowhere. You didn't put yourself under the psychosis that you didn't went somewhere, but you're still on the planet. And it ain't even the planet that's going somewhere. It's the solar system that's going somewhere, and it's carrying the planets with it where it's going. You are not in the same vector of the void that you was in yesterday. We in a whole nother nebula within space, and we're not even aware. Many of you are not aware at that level. But you're making these delusional confessions to something that has not confirmed itself. You've been spellbound, and it's time to break that spell. And the beings that cast those spells, they no longer have power over you no more. That power is gone. That's why they releasing these movies and they showing it all to you in the movies, because that's their last. They got to show you the truth. They can't rule over you without showing you the truth. They don't have to tell you the truth. They just got to show it to you. It's up to you to open up your third eye and have the discernment to see what's going on. Like they making the movie now, Disclosure Day. I think that'll be out next weekend when Disclosure Day drop. and they showed you the little trailer for it, and they always pull up a gray. Notice that they always pull a gray in there, and we discussed how the gray shows up in the gestation period of pregnancy. Follow? After so many weeks, about 9 weeks, the baby starts to look like a gray, what they call an alien. So they already mixed into your blood. If you got hair on your body, if you got hair on your head, some of y'all like to wear your long locks, you got that hair from an extraterrestrial. Right? Your hair came from extraterrestrials. Your lips come from extraterrestrials. That were sea creatures. The baloney man to tell you, oh, you a chimp. A lot of them like to use that, call us chimps. No, chimps got lips like you. We got big lips. I ain't never seen no chimp with big lips. I could see them barely have lips. Right? Could barely see they lip. Like, damn. I asked a white lady one day, like, yo, you ain't got no lip. She was like, I know. And damn, the fuck your lip at? I be fucking with that on the humbug, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you ain't even got no lip there. What's going on? But you got your lips from the fish. It's a type of fish that you got your lips from. That's a sea creature. What they call that? That's a hereditary trait that you got from the fish, from the sea creatures, the beings in the water. But I gotta put that type of stuff out there, man, because that's right. Like the Oscar, you look at the Oscar fish, and if you notice, some people got eyes like an Oscar. You ever notice that? Got eyes like an Oscar. You got the lips like them. I used to have a few Oscars. They got quite big too. Not as big as they get in the aquarium, but that mug was big. I put them in there with some piranhas, and they ate the piranhas. Piranhas couldn't do nothing with them. They was too big. And it was like, shit. So the piranhas started eating on each other. And the Oscars end up eating them. Another being that has been on this planet and that is more long-lived than we are is the turtle. Our lifespan does not, it gets exhausted before the turtle even get halfway home. They finding big sea turtles just like 200 years old, 300 years old, and they still alive. Don't think they not studying these motherfuckers and trying to figure out how to extend their lifetime here. And the same thing is going on with the trees. Trees are alive too. And their lifespan is a lot more expanded than yours is. You depend on them in order to breathe. They don't depend on you to breathe. And they're going to consume your flesh after you die. After your physical body decomposes. They're going to eat that. Hey? This is called planetary awareness. And we have to grow to a comprehensible, coherent level in order to evolve beyond it. Right? It's analogous to getting on a freeway and knowing what state you want to go to. You got to get on, you got to know where you're going or something. Like, you got to know the freeway. You got to know this, you got to know shit. You can't just not know nothing and just get there. Right? But again, we've been conditioned by a being that's beast-like, has an animal nature. It doesn't have a spiritual nature. When it attempted to have a spiritual nature, it started to function with the belief system, right? Start using belief to validate reality, and you can't use belief to validate reality. I call that a false awareness. Anyway, I think I done went on a monologue long enough. I'm your beloved brother, Dr. Ray Tech, Master OrgoniteTEK Builder. teacher of radiology, a wielder of primordial energy. I am my ancestors' keeper. I'm an altar activation expert and master of alignment. I've been on the spiritual journey cognizantly for over 29 years now. These lives are dedicated to people that are new to their journey. Those people that have just left the confines of organized religion, those people that are COVID woke or quarantine woke, those people that don't have a spiritual system or have not been initiated into any spiritual system or order. These lives are dedicated to you so that we can put things in its appropriate context and break the tapestries of the binding mechanisms of the grimoire. Because that's what we've been conditioned to accept, especially us in the Western world. Because we had to go to grimoire school, what you call grammar school, right? Some white guy parroted all the shit I said. Motherfucker got 100,000 likes, 100 got 1,000,000 views. He said the same shit I say. I'm like, damn. Well, see, they gonna let the pink man, they gonna push him and gonna put me to the back because they don't want y'all to see that somebody that look like you has that information, that's aware at that level, right? And that's okay, long as it get on out there. Everybody in the damn comment section praising this motherfucker like he didn't figure something out. And I know he ain't just figure it out. But they gonna put him across the algorithm before they put me. Right? And I've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 years on here, just on here. You know, my master teacher, the one that originated all that shit, they not gonna give him that credit. That's why they tried to assassinate his character. They like, yo, man, we gotta assassinate this nigga character and put some and have our placeholders parroting this information. But I'm here to highlight that that's some bullshit, right? But we at 20,000 likes. Anybody got any questions? Any questions? Any questions out there? We cover everything under, over, and within the sun, under, over, and within the planet, over, under, and within the human body, on world, off world, and into the afterlife. That's the spectrum of questions I'm capable of answering. Do I know everything? No. But if you are not functioning outside of person, place, and things, I'm quite confident that I can answer your questions clearly and concisely. Take your notes and check these references out that I give. And most people do. And even if they don't, it still end up coming across your timeline. And you be like, oh shit, he been telling us about this. Damn, now it's starting to come. And you putting yourself on that frequency. Right? Yep, all my 1089 tech members, remember to study the board, study the 9-grid system. That's a very long thread. You might see a couple of grand risings that got integrated in there somehow. That don't mean that that's the end of it. It's still longer than that. That shit long. You go through the whole thread and then go through it again. I'm gonna keep adding more stuff to it. But if y'all don't respond to the stuff that I'm posting there, what you lead me to surmise and to assume is that you haven't covered it. Leave a little thumb or something. Let me know that y'all seen it, and I'll keep dropping more stuff on there. But I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I know it's already overwhelming. And also for the newer members and the older ones, y'all should go through the database. Go through 2023, 24, and 25, right? Shouts out to Ricky Rodriguez. He did an excellent job putting all that stuff together. All them Gregory Grabavoy codes is in there. I hear a lot of you guys like, hey, what code is this? What code is that? Go through the damn thing, man. Go through it. Don't be lazy. Do not be lazy. Please don't do that. I'm telling you, it's beings watching you from the observational field, and they're assessing you, and they're seeing your loftiness or your aloofness. They're seeing you being unmotivated, And they're coming up with stratagems all the time to attempt to take over your body, especially when you're going to sleep. When you go to sleep and you leave your body, man, depending on what you've been watching and where your thought patterns is at, man, it is trying to get in your body. It'd be a litany of spirits just gathered at the liquor store, at the club, wherever spirits are consumed. They there looking for a being that's an easy mark, an easy entryway into this dimension. And they'll take your body over and can have a continuation with what they was doing the last time they had a body. Right? This shit is for real. That's why some of you guys get so inebriated and you don't even remember what happened. You hear me? I know what be happening to some of y'all. And see, some of you women, you don't realize the dudes be dropping them little Mickeys in your shit. and they'll mess around and GR you. Use your imagination. And you ain't got nobody to blame because they'll show you on film walking out with the people and, you know, shit, I'm on a what's the name? But
what's going on, brother?
Man, I'm on the live right now.
Oh, you on the live? Oh,
yeah.
Dang, yeah. I just got done doing my training and stuff.
That's all good. We could talk later. Are you working today or are you off?
I work, but I go in at 5. So I mean, if you be done by then.
Yeah, I'll call you. I'll call you.
All right, for sure.
All right, love one.
All right.
Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, those spirits, man. Them spirits. They got the bottle girl. Going to bring you the bottle with the sparklers, right? You consume too much of that stuff, those spirits take you over. You have an exorcism. You call it a hangover. When you get up the next morning and you start throwing up that spirit, because the spirit is fighting your spirit. And your spirit's stronger than that spirit because you contractually obligated to be in that body. That's where that throw up comes from. It's your spirit fighting against the spirit that's in that spirit you consumed. And it's like, nah, man, let me up. It got to get up out of you. It can't reside there. It's like, shit. You throw it up, especially when you had that extensive throwing up. Like if you keep throwing up for like an hour, you had a spirit inside of you and it was trying to take over your body. And you was wrestling that motherfucker like, no, this is my body. But you're not aware of yourself at that level. You're not coherently, comprehensively aware of who you are spiritually. Someone has to vet that out to you. This is why I say you got to have a guide. You got to have a teacher. You got to have a mentor. You have to have an advisor, somebody. Don't stop thinking that you can just handle everything on your own. You better get to somebody this season, and that's a veteran in these regards. Always check in with the Ascended Masters. I know Ascended Masters. I check in with they. They let me know. That's what got me on the type of time that I'm on, because they confirm it and stamp me. Like, no, man, go and push that shit. Rock. You right and exact. Right? But we've been under a spell called the spell of spiritual ignorance. That's the spell of Amma. Who is Amma, Dr. Ray? Amma is one of the nomos. Listen, their wise mental illness getting worse. It's because the stuff that people are consuming, just like autism is getting worse. They putting all these metals into the water. They putting it in the air. That's why I keep pumping out the pyramids and telling people like, yo, man, we got to clear up these chemtrails. We thinking too linear and thinking it's not affecting us. The devil plays the long game. He's not playing the short game with you. Right? You've been breathing this shit in for 12 years, then you decide to have children, now your child got autism. And they know what's causing it, but they're not going to tell you. Same thing with the St. Jude Hospital. I got to do a burn for those children. No child should have cancer like that, man. But you putting the cell phone up to the baby while it's in the womb. You're handing them a tablet while they little. You hear me? And now they got tumors growing in their damn brain. Because I show you guys in the video, I need to repin that video. I think I'm going to repin that video to show you. It don't matter what with a child. They can hold it on the left side of their ear, the right side, or just hold it in their hand. That shit cook their whole brain. Because the brain isn't done developing yet. The skull isn't strong enough to stop that radiation from breaking its thresholds. You welcome, Tasha. Yeah, but that's why it's getting worse. Another reason why it's getting worse, people don't meditate. We don't even know about meditation, right? Then we're overwhelming our subconscious mind with the marketing stratagems that's being is being propagated to us perpetually. You know what I mean? Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I'm just expecting somebody to pop up out of nowhere, even though I know that that can't happen. It can, but the probability of me saying that is somebody popping out saying, "Hey, man, you call a State Farm, man?" You know what I mean? That's why. And see, you're sending mixed signals to the subconscious mind because the subconscious mind records everything. Some of you guys are by a window and you can see cars going down the street. Your subconscious mind picked up the license plates of that car, which state it was in. It picked up the station or the radio that person that was riding down the street was listening to, or the conversation that they was having on the phone. Your subconscious mind picked up all of that. Your conscious mind wasn't aware of that shit. It's paying attention to what I'm saying. But your subconscious mind picked up all of that. And so did your superconscious, right? The unconscious mind ain't even focused on that. It's making your heart breathe. It's making sure you breathe. It's making sure that your blood is distributed through your circulatory system and your central nervous system. All of the red bloods and white blood cells are being distributed into their locations. The neural pathways, the neurotransmitters that eject from the dendrites, your unconscious mind takes autonomy over that on your behalf so that you don't have to be focused on that. You can focus on the reality outside of your eyeballs. And that's how powerful you are. You just got to dial into your own power and stop dialing into shit outside of you. Ain't nothing wrong with engaging stuff outside of you, but take some priority with the self and reprogram yourself, deprogram from the grimoire so that you could tap into your inner being. Because they done created a wall between you and your inner being with this grimoire. And now people think they're not even a spirit. They think a spirit got to be injected into them. No, you are the spirit, right? You are the volume that occupies the container. Once you leave it, it can't do nothing. Nothing else could even take it over. Y'all tap the screen for me. Hopefully y'all come up with a question. Yeah, so you as a spiritual being, you operate in that body when you go to sleep or what you call rest or the dream. Once you do that, then you are operating under your own volition. You don't have to carry this body around with you. So you vibrating at a more rapid rate than you are when you in your body. Right? Things are 10 times more expanded in the spiritual universe. He said, what's up with the mothership? I don't know what you mean by that. That's quite vague. You talking about an alien aircraft? I don't know what you're saying. Now, if you referring to the one of Elijah Muhammad, are you talking about Nibiru? Okay, you got to say that. You got to say that. I don't want to assume what your question is. I want to know what your question. Elijah Muhammad, Nibiru. Because what's more significant than the mothership is your big mother, your big mama. You know, Mama Ruby, Big Mama Ruth, right? Said thoughts on the Anunnaki. Y'all got to check out my video on YouTube about the Anunnaki. When you talk about the Anunnaki, that is the response to a question. And the question was, who sent you here? That's what the Sumerians asked the Anunnaki. Because Anunnaki pretty much means those Anu sent the key on crafts in groups of 50. They said Anu sent us here on crafts in groups of 50. The next question should be, who are these beings that they're talking about? That wasn't Enki and Enlil. Those are his children, right? Those are the Anutu. That's different. That's a part of his family. And when you hear somebody use that terminology, Anunnaki, that means that they not Anu. They not ever Anu, but Anu sent their ass there. That was the beings that came from Iduma, one of your neighboring alpha stars called Sirius. It had a planet orbiting around it called Iduma that got destroyed by Nibiru, right? And Anu, the gravitational field of Nibiru is so expansive that it trapped Sirius B in its orbit. And as it started to orbit around the mother craft of Nibiru, which means planet-sized craft, as it orbited around it, it started to abstract all of the protons out of that sun, rendering it from being a red dwarf, and it started to switch polarities and turn into a white dwarf. And they noticed that there was a planet orbiting Sirius B, and they abstracted the beings from off of that planet. And it was 3 classifications of species that resided on Iduma. That was the Shaggies, who y'all call Bigfoot or Saskatchewan. Some of you call it the Wendigo or the Yeti, right? That's where we get hair from. That's where fur comes from, these beings. And they got a spectrum of Shaggies. They just don't look one particular way. The next group of beings was the Nomos. That's where our big lips come from, referred to Enemy Mine with Lou Gossett Jr. May the ancestors be with him. When y'all look at that, he was a sea creature, right? And he had big lips, just like how we got now. So for all you racist people that be saying that we chimps, no, we closer to the sea creature than the chimp. You closer to the chimp than the sea creature. You hear me? You get lice just like them. You get ticks just like them. And if I take an edger and I cut off the hair of the chimp, it got skin just like yours. It don't got skin like mine. Got the liver spots and everything, just like y'all get. And that's to them racist motherfuckers that be propagating that. So you got the Nomos beings that lived under the water. You have the Shaggy that had the capability of living in the mountain range, and they covered most of, the land. Then you had the Mercabians, right? What you would call Greys. And these race of Mercabians had gained their sovereignty, and they had the autonomy to explore the whole universe. You know, they once used to serve Anu and his royal fleet. They were excavators that would enter into solar systems that dealt in this density, right? And they would navigate and take loggings of everything. You know what I mean? They were like scouts, if you will. But these are the three classified beings that were gathered up on the mothership Nibiru to tie it all in with the Red Rider brother. I don't know where your question was, but hopefully this is all pulling it together for you as well. And they were sent to Key on crafts in groups of 50. Now you have subsidiary crafts that exist within Nibiru. Nibiru is about the size of Jupiter, right? It's a living entity. That craft is alive. And it took the protons that it collected from Sirius B being trapped in this gravitational field and redistributed the protons back into the sun and took the gravitational field and isolated it into Sirius B. And right now, you don't believe, y'all have to believe me, you could go look this shit up. Sirius A and Sirius C is orbiting Sirius B right now, and Sirius B pales in comparison the size of Sirius A and C. Because Sirius A is about 15 million times larger than our sun. And it's very tiny on a seismic scale in comparison to other suns like Betelgeuse and Rigel, Antares. They're way more expanded. They make those suns look like little pebbles. This is documented fact. And I hope that answers your question about the Anunnaki. So when you say Anunnaki, these are those beings that got sent to Key. The proof of that is in the fact that you got hair. That hair, and for some of you guys, fur, you got that from the Shaggies. As I aforementioned about the big lips and the nose, you got that from the sea creature, the Nomos. The Dogon high priest will back up everything I'm telling you. See, instead of you going to the Dogon priest, a lot of y'all will go to the professor at Harvard who doesn't have his spiritual acuity is very blurry. You don't have no sense of who he is spiritually. He's a professor, and he's going to profess to you something that will discourage you from tapping into your own inner being. You see, they like to look outside of themselves. They don't like to look within themselves. But when they do that, they start to see the devil. To put it in a to put it in a simple term that you can grasp. So they don't like to tap into themselves. Those that do, they start doing dark magic, and you see all the evil shit they come up with. I'm just keeping it 10K with you, right? But then you got the Mercarbians, which you refer to as Greys, Rumeridans, the Zeta Reticuli, which is there's over 70 different classifications of those Greys. It ain't just one definitive type of Grey, right? The Malaikat. That's what they call them in the Quran. And in the Happy Nile Valley, they called them the river angels. You be seeing some of them on YouTube when you see the fish and they look at the bottom of the fish and they got a face up under there. Don't it got a face like a gray? And see, this is just in the physical universe. You don't come from a physical universe. You, the spirit being, come from a spiritual universe. Its seismic scale is so expansive that it makes the material universe appear like a germ. Don't you know how you put a germ on a glass plate and slide it up under a electron microscope? And you can see the germ placed on a little glass thing. That's how big our universe is in comparison to the spiritual universe. It's a lot more expanded. In the file from your experience that your subconscious mind recorded, it's too vast for you to upload into your awakened consciousness. There's nowhere to put that. And so since there's nowhere to put it, right, it stores it in your subconscious mind, and you revisit it later after you come back up out of your body, right? After you come up out of your body and you back in the spiritual universe, now you can revisit those experiences. And a lot of times you do. And some of you guys will wake up and be like, man, I had a weird dream. I didn't understand none of it. All of that stuff is of your making. You generate your own reality. And I'm starting to go into a direction to where I have to start covering the pocket dimensions a little bit more in detail, right? Because that's where people are isolated in what is referred to as the afterlife or the human afterlife. You're in a spiritual location of your own consciousness. That's what happens to everything that has been stored in the subconscious mind once you have extricated from the body indefinitely, right? If you don't have a gauge of where you can project yourself to. And your ancient ancestors tried to show you this when they say, our Father who art in heaven, right? Our Father who art in heaven. Y'all know how we get on with that. Y'all tap that screen for me. I appreciate y'all tapping the screen. I don't know where. And let me get that disclaimer too. We are not kicking you out the room. If you've been dropped from the room, that's not me dropping you from the room. That's not the moderator dropping. Sometimes y'all try to put questions in the comments section. We're not ignoring your question. We will pin the question to the top of the page. It's just the fact that they don't want that stuff to be seen. Right? You got beings out here that want you to be ignorant. One of those beings is Amma. Amma is a nomos. It's two beings, Amma and Urugu. Amma and Urugu. Those are two reptilians or sea creatures that don't like you. They don't like humans. The reason why they don't like humans is because it's like we mixed in with a piece of them and a piece of the mammals. And they feel more superior than mammals. Right? Feel a little bit more superior. The same way some racist white folks might feel about black people. And Cindy bring home Jamal. And she like, this is my boyfriend, Jamal. And like, hi, why are you bringing a nigger into my home? Hey, this is my boyfriend. This is my boo thing. And I'm pregnant. I'm having this baby. And now the white dude going to be like, oh, that baby is inferior because it's not 100% pure. That's how the nomos feel about humans. Even the hunkies. They like, man, they got an albino aspect of their nature. But they like, yo, I don't like that being. And the beings that seeded us here destroyed their planet. And some of them didn't like that shit. They didn't like having to come here. And they said, oh, they're going to fix our ass for having to come on the planet. And this is taking you into a practical, rational scenario when dealing with just the nomos. Now, the Shaggies, they didn't have no problem with it. They're very compassionate. They're not aggressive. So what is the difference between the Anubis, Exolo? I don't know what the Exo-Elo is, and Anunnaki. Again, when you saying Anunnaki, all Anunnaki is just responding to a question. Anu sent us here And these are the beings that were responding to that question that I just named, right? Those are the Anunnaki. You got another group that's called the Igigi. And the Igigi never interfaced with beings on this planet. They stayed in crafts and watched us from an observational field, right? Then you got the Anutu. Those are the ones, those are the Anu people. Say, who was that you were wearing? That's Sakim, right? See right there, say meditate. Shirts available on the website, 1089techvision.com. Go to the website, go to hit the tab and hit the new Ray Tech Wear, and you will see all the t-shirts. I got a lot of fly tees, right? We in season 4 of the tees, the Baruti brand. Baruti is the Nawapic way of saying the Sphinx. You know, that's this symbol right here. That's the Baruti, right? The guardian of the sun. But go ahead, go back again, Annette. Come back, Nettie. We'll ask that question another way so I can answer it for you. Ask it another way, beloved. But, you know, Anubu, that's dealing with Sirius. I could see that that's where you were going with that, I think, right? But the beings in Sirius, said the sun, I don't want to guess. I don't want to be speculating and reaching with what you're saying. So I could tie it all in for you, though. You asked the question clear enough, I could respond clear enough to the question. Because I was about to go off on into Anubis and the Sirius. They call that the Dog Star constellation, right? It's in the Canis Major and the Canis Minor. Canis, right? K9, that's where the word K9 comes from. Right? That's where the cannabis comes from as well, which is an actual plant or an actual tree. It's a living entity. It's alive, right? They measure things every 7 weeks is a whole nother, is a new year for them. And this is why the dogs here on this planet, every 7 weeks is a new year for them. And then they'll tell you little subtleties like all dogs go to heaven. But they short you on the terminology of heaven and what they mean. And they speak in esoteric codexes that you don't understand. So when they say that all dogs go to heaven, they're saying that all the dogs go to the Sirius star constellation, because that's where they came from. And the planets that orbit them, the stars in the Canis Major, it takes them 7 weeks to complete a full cycle. So their years are a lot more sped up than ours. Just like the beings in Aldebaran, right? A 2-year-old from Aldebaran is 26,000 years old. We don't even live that long. But the reason why they have such a long shelf life in the material universe is because they have a minuscule shelf life in the spiritual universe. Guys, follow what I'm saying. Just putting the pieces together, because that was kind of fragmented, that question that you asked. But yeah, that's where the dogs come from. And if you look at the word dog backwards, you will see the word God. Somebody did that. Whoever did that was a human, right? And what you guys also got to realize when it comes to the Proto-Indo-Euro is they were never initiated into any of the occult centers. They were not accepted into the temples in the land of Amun-Ra. So they used to speculate about a lot of shit. They used to make up a lot of shit because they weren't taught. Say, what's the difference between the physical universe and material universe? Oh, they're the same thing. They're the same exact thing. Just two different words describing the same thing. When I say physical universe, I'm referring to the physics of the material universe. In other words, I'm going to talk about seismic scale. I'm going to talk about distance. I'm going to talk about the weight and the volume, right? Talk about the spiritual universe. You're talking about a primordial stage in creation that predates the material. Follow what I'm saying? Shouts out to Ray. Thank you, Ray. Thank you for the gift. Thank you guys for showing love and passing out those gifts for all my people that be gifting. Y'all keep tapping that screen for me. Don't let Ricky Rodriguez be the only one tapping the screen. Thank you, Nature First Initiative. I need you guys to hit the screen, hit it so more people can see the live. They don't want people to see my live. They don't want you guys to be aware of this stuff. They don't want you thinking. They want you to be entertained. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to breadcrumb you either. You're welcome, Nettie. You know, some people will breadcrumb you and they'll tell you what they're gonna talk about and then they don't talk about it. They act like they're gonna get around to it. Like that's fucked up. If you people that's out there doing it, I see y'all be doing it. I seen it again today. I'm like, damn, why you breadcrumbing them? Just tell them what you want to tell them. So when you guys come in here, thank you, Mother Eden Butters. What she say? Are our ancestors in contact with any other ancient ancestors in the human afterlife? Yes, of course. Of course they are. See, it's a pecking order. Your ancestors don't begin until 2048 pair of great grandparents. You should know that, Mother Edenberg. Now, your mother and your father and their mothers and fathers are all tethered together. And their mothers and fathers, which your mother and father may not have had the opportune or fortunate event of meeting, get introduced to them in the afterlife. They get introduced to those that they didn't know. All the unknowns, you get to know them, but you have to go into an unknown location in order for that to happen. It ain't gonna happen while you're alive. Not in case you pull up all the death records and pull out the pictures and the photos and all of the heirlooms. And like I was saying, a lot of people in these countries in Africa that belong to the tribes. I want to say it's over 80 tribes in Africa. A lot of them, they know all of their people going back 2048 pair of great grandparents. Right? They know the stories, they know all that shit. And what the baloney man don't want us to do in the Western world is to get on that type of timeline. And what we're here to do is to pioneer a new paradigm so that our progeny in the future will be on that type of time. But as far as your ancient ancestors, it's your 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 elders open up the corridors that lead to the ancestors, right? Before I came on here, I called out a litany of names. I called out my grandmothers and my great grandmothers and their mothers and fathers, right? On all sides, for those that I know. And as thank you, loved one. Welcome to 1089 TV. This is how we get out. And for those that's unknown to me, now my offerings, my libations, everything I'm deposited is starting to matriculate into the location they reside in, right? It been doing that. I didn't even know when it had hit me. Let me give you all my testimony. Shouts out Ricky, be like, yeah, you need to tell more of your stories. I'm gonna tell you guys one of my stories because this one things got accelerated for me. My mother had just passed. Like it might have been about 6 months. And I was venerating her every day, right? We were very close. And my grandmother told me to take down her picture off the altar and put my mother's picture up there. So I did. And I started burning ancestor money for my mother. I was always leaving my plate up there. But once I got that ancestor money involved, you know, shouts out to OrgoniteTEK, right? And shouts out to the grandfather Jade Emperor, because that's the first place I got it from. I got some from off of Amazon. And that's a whole nother testimony in itself. But let me just break it down to you guys. One morning I woke up, 1 a.m. I wake up and sit, and I used to stay in this other crib and had French doors on my bedroom. And I woke up and I opened up the French doors, and the whole living room and dining room was covered with my mother, my grandparents, my great grandparents. I was still dreaming. I woke up and thinking I'm waking up, but I was waking up in the afterlife, right? And I'm like, man, what's going on? And my mom was all smiling and shit. And I said, what is this, Ma? Everything okay? She was like, yeah, Baba, everything is good. She said, have a seat right here. They had me take a seat, and it was like this makeshift throne that they made for me. And they had this makeshift crown that they made, and they put it on my head, and it was this cape-like quilt. And one of my great 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 grandmothers was still sewing the quilt together while they was putting it on me, and they all started clapping for me, and they told me that I had been coordinated by the four ventricle lines of my family tree. Now, this after the Archangel Gabriel came to me, and that's a whole nother story. But what that told me was like, yo, now you've been stamped. And this was after I was given a mandate by the Archangel Gabriel to find 26 souls and show them to do what I do. Because he was highly impressed with my dedication, my devotion, and my application. Right? He was highly impressed with it. Thank you, beloved. Shirts available on the website. You know where they at, Dom. Shouts out to Dom. Right? And that go back over 10, 12 years ago. But your connections are more solidified when it's someone that you were quite close to. If you know, that's why I tell y'all, it's your progenitors. Those are the channels. They open up those corridors to those channels that lead to those ancestors. And even before my mother passed, I had already been consistently pouring a libation and making offerings and interfacing with my altar. Right? I was fortunate enough to do it with my mother for 5 years before she passed. So when she passed over, I had a very advanced ally assisting me in what I do. Right? And that's just how it go. But that's a formality for some of the people that come from places where they were not severed from their lineage and the spiritual ties that make up that lineage, right? But it's very, you know, it's a pecking order, Mother Edinburgh. I hope that answers your question. You should have known that. I don't know. Yeah, you should know that. You're welcome. Thank you, Sadhu. Thank you for listening. Right? Yeah, but they all in tune with each other. And that's why I told that story, because I didn't recognize half of them people. I didn't know who they was, but I knew that they was family, because for those that did transition that I was familiar with, I knew exactly what was going on. I didn't bug out. I was very grounded, and I was excited just to see some of those people again. You follow? But it happens quite prevalent. Every once in a while, some beings will come in my dream. People I went to high school with that passed on that I didn't even. You welcome, love it. Uh, some people that then passed on, I went to school with that I didn't kick it with, have ran into people that I did kick it with that have passed over, and they bring them to me. But they be like, yo, who paid for how am I getting a haircut? How am I getting fresh? That's how one of the dudes told me. We was at my locker at school. I was like, man, I ain't been in school in 25 years at that point when that happened. I was like, yo, it's been 25 years. I got a son in the 10th grade. That particular son that graduated from high school now. But I was like, yo, my son in the 10th grade. Like, your son? Like, yeah, man, like, you're not alive. And my boy Mud, shouts out to Mud, may the ancestors be with him. His real name, Colden. Shouts out to his mother, Gwen Foot, right? And the Foot family. Right? he had he was trying to convince this dude because they got him fresh from the ancestor money I was burning for him. And they was like, yeah, this the one. He the one that gave us the money. And my man that they was talking to didn't know that he didn't believe that he was dead, that he wasn't alive. Let me put it that way, because you don't die. And I was explaining, I was breaking it down to the nigga. And he was like, well, how come we still in the 10th grade right now then? And I said, because that's where you checked out at. I'm just coming to revisit you there because I got enough of the high school crystallized in my consciousness that it's a safe enough locality for me to interface with you with. And he didn't understand it. And I was like, what's your name, dog? I'll burn some money for you. But it's little that I could do for him. Listen, that his own people need to be doing for him. So it's a limitation on what you could do for those people that's not connected to you. You could do something for them, but it's up to those people that owe them a mortal obligation to do that. And a lot of beings fall short. I'm telling y'all, like a few people, grandmamas. I don't know who your grandmama is, but they come to me. And they frustrated with some of y'all. How come you're not connecting the dots and willing to make that, make that introduction? It's up to you, man. I ain't gonna twist your arm off. I'm not. I'm not here to over-convince you. Because like I tell my students, it ain't about what you can prove to me. It's about what you can prove to yourself. That's it. I'm not gonna play mind games with you. I'm gonna show you how to align and make the connection. Right? And you're gonna start empowering yourself. Right? Shouts out to Ready to Win. What's up, beloved? You welcome Balance Healing. I'm glad that you're feeling the message, beloved. Come join our community. We would love to have you. Right? But I don't be wanting to play with people's awareness like that. I'm not gonna tell you, shouts out to Ready to Win and Balance Healing. I'm not gonna tell you, yes, you need to connect to the universe. You need to connect to the Most High. No, you need to connect to your grandmama. Said our community just teared up. Thank you, beloved. Yeah, the TikTok community, we on the roll. But we got a group offline it's a private chat group in the Google chat. We'd love to have you guys here. Right? The seismic scale, that's why we've been going over the seismic scale of late, to show people the most practical and rational connections you're capable of making under your own volition. Right? We got to address those connections first. And once we could show some dedication and some devotion to that, then beings outside the visible spectrum that govern this reality and that favor humanity, they'll step in on your behalf and assist you on your journey. I just know the appropriate etiquette because I've been on this over 29 years. And not off and on and spotty and picking it up and putting it down. No, I've been very consistent and perpetual. I was groomed to teach. Right? I was groomed to become a master teacher by the Supreme Grand Master Teacher, as well as many others. And when we come into this reality, that's what we were mandated to do. Some of us, because we come from all over the tapestries of your galaxy. Right? A galaxy is different than a universe. It's over 52 sextillion galaxies. That's 60 sets of 3 zeros It's 52 sextillion galaxies in one universe. And that's just on the physical side. That's the physical universe. That's not the spiritual. And in the spiritual universe, that registers as a germ on one of those little glass plates that you put under the electron microscope. That's how large your whole universe looks in the spiritual universe. So you can't connect to the divine source of all there is. It would it would deploy every particle of your essence in every direction if you made direct contact with something of such an incomprehensible range. Right? It's like you plugging your phone up to the transformer that light up the city. Your phone gonna explode. You're gonna have shards of glass all in your face and shit. When you put that in realistic terms. But you do have beings that have evolved to the point that they hold a ranking in what you refer to as a god. You know, the more rational terminology to use would be something like supreme being, right? Or superior being. Not a human being, because they're not humans. They don't function like a human. Now you got something called earth-based gods. I think we talked about this in one of the seminars. And we'll cover all of this in the ethos. We're gonna do one called the ethos. That's gonna be in November. And I'm gonna go because we starting to go into that level now where people can petition to the gods, especially all my people that then cycle. Now you're not gonna be looked at like you an irritant because you didn't already you showing the appropriate etiquette before you know, initiating these type of connections to these high evolutionary beings. But Sekhmet can't talk to you directly. She's too expanded. You like a fruit fly. So she'll send a cat to you. You might see a lion come across the TV, or she might give you some type of prompting to let you know that that's her, right? That she's responding to you because she's too big for the physics that are required for this reality. She's beyond the physics of this reality. So she'll have to send something, just like you being in Legoland. And the Legoland man want to know if you're still watching over him. And you can't talk to him. You will shatter. It's too loud, right? It's too loud for you to do that. So it's like, shit. Like, man, how do I write? That I have spoken to Isis and Bastet. Okay. You petition to them. Her real name is Offset. But I hear you though. You reach out to them, especially if you're a non-ether being. That's why I be trying to get my so-called black people, misnomer, in the Western world, align with the Netaru. They look just like you. And they in our blood. They coursing through our veins. Offset, Asaru, Neptet, Haru, Newt, Geb, Shu, Tefnut. They all inside of us. Right? But it's a lady, not I. I don't know who that is. I never heard that terminology. Right? That's the pecking order. When you connect to your mothers and your fathers, if they transition, your grandmothers and grandfathers, and their mothers and fathers, then they get an ashe. Say, look her up. Lady Nada. Okay, yeah. She's not one of the Netaru, though. Are you trying to say Neptet or Neptu? I'm not certain. But yeah, I'll look into Lady Nada. And I'm sure one of my moderators probably already on it. Right? But yeah, so these connections are not speculative. There's no guesswork involved when it comes to your own family tree. These are the most practical and rational connections that I encourage people to make. And I give you concise, definitive instruction and direction in order to accelerate the activation of your altar. Because for all my pyramid holders, you are the beacon of light for the people in your immediate environment and your community, right? It is your efforts that is dispelling the darkness from that reality, right? Yeah, it's all good. I overstood, beloved. Any questions? Anybody got any questions? We about to go into 111. I'm gonna call out the 99 Netaru, and we'll continue to live. Come and join us in San Antonio. Tickets are still available. I'm telling y'all, the Academy and the alumni, they gonna show up. They gonna be there too. They don't gotta pay for their tickets. They didn't already pay for their ticket before. So don't wait to the last minute. Some of y'all people that's in the community, that's my students, y'all gonna have to stand up and give up your seats. Right? Y'all have to give y'all seats up. Get your seats up and just stand up, be on post with Dr. Ray, right? But that's July the 25th. Check my story. I've been putting AAA facts, workshop facts. I want to say we at number 8. I'm going to put up number 9, 10, 11, and 12 today as well. All right? So let's go into the 99 Netaru. Abdul Kutafalat. Wabazun Bibamu El Kalum. Upa net to that. Minu Nut Sheu Kawun. Ilabihu. Atunre. Nu Nunet. He het. Kek Ki Kek. Amun. Amunet. Atum. Shu Tefnut. Geb. Nut. Oset. Asaru. Nepet. Satuk Haru Happy Anquid Anti Nefertum Mantu Beti. Sekmet. Hethar Bes Pata. Baz Amhotep. Hu Mihert Kepri Meskahenit. Riot. Kintamingtu. Hika Neve Mayat Renentat Shah. Sishat Mafdat Sobek Anubu. Kanum Kansu Tanin. Sia Hiket Amsu Sarapi. Atumre Tahuti Taret Selket Ha. Nehepka Sokar Bait. Akir. Anihirit. Wabwawi. Siket Hitet. Maresgir. Sia Getit Astinu Buhutet Kanimtet Menket Hem Madudi. Kabasinu Duamutef. Merit Ura Ejunikebit. Siket Anuket Jet. Tim Ua Uis Anku Afnuit Satis Sekti Imta. Nina Emuet Mseti Kimamu. Reshev. Mary. Amun Ray. For the sake of all. Kawun. Rahubad Ali Nazurin, I see you. I seen that. I can't find it, but there she is. Nakinit. Nakinakat. Hotep Wa Ashuk. Yeah, that was the 99. That wasn't the light language, beloved. That's the 99 Netaru. And we call on the 99 Netaru because they are in alignment with the 99 elements that make up the material reality of the visible spectrum. And this is activating them in the atmosphere and calling them to this live and to assist with the transmission. You know, they help assist with the transmissions I receive, right? I'm able to make the connections through them. You know, I don't do everything of my own will. You know, I just carry my fair portion, and we give them an honor every day, just as we do our dearly departed. And I'm telling y'all, for the people that's on the outside looking in, man, y'all don't know what you missing. I'm telling you, I don't know what you waiting for, what you think gonna happen, but I'm gonna tell you this: a day will come where it's going to be a great day in time or a dreadful day. And the one thing that you cannot say is that you have not been told, right? Can't say that. That won't compensate for what you thought or what you felt at the time, right? This is your sign. This is your indicator and your message, right? Especially for you people that are new to your journey. Like, I'm telling you, ain't nobody else gonna be transparent at the rate that I am, right? They not. Very transparent. I'm very direct, and I keep things in a rational range. I don't like to even go, like a person asked me about the mothership. I know all that stuff. I don't even like to go into all of that because it's far outside the range of what people are able to access under their own volition. They don't even know where to begin to look, right? But really, most of the stuff is right there in the holy tablets, but it has to unlock the dormancy of your DNA. And that's going back to Amma again. I got to get on Amma ass, right? Who placed a spell of spiritual sleep on the people on the planet. And shouts out to Dr. Ani Marimba. I talk about her in my book, The Relationship with Oneself. Dr. Ani Marimba. She talk about Yorugu and Amma. Those are the nomos reptilians that put spiritual ignorance on the people on the planet. They work with another demigod by the name of Kengu. They all work together. And y'all ain't never heard none of them names. Some of y'all. Right? But them the beings that's working against you. That's just some of them. It's a whole concert of them. And you think you up there, you got to worry about this little pink baloney man with his hot dog smelling ass. You ain't got to worry about him. Just stop paying him attention. Right? Stop paying him attention. He start losing power. Y'all give that motherfucker too much attention. Ignore that motherfucker. Like, man, let me give myself that attention. You would get further faster if you did. You got to create scenarios and situations to make you pay attention. Somebody was telling me something the other day, and I was like, "Ah, shit, man, I don't watch the news." And that man was like, "I don't watch the news either." But like, hey, I don't know, man. You on point with whatever you saying about that shit? Because I don't know. That shit get no attention from me. I'm working on pyramids. I'm working on pendants. I'm writing books. I'm designing T-shirts, right? Making sure that I'm grounded. Printing up ancestor money. Burning ancestor money. Burning ancestor money on the behalf of other people in my community and for the people they done lost. Right? That's what's essential to me. That's what holds a priority in my awareness field. And as long as where your energy flows where your attention goes. So you better put it on yourself. And fuck anybody to tell you being selfish. Putting your attention on yourself. You not, man. You better, ain't nobody else gonna do it. Right? What Cat Williams say? You're a star motherfucking player? You better be your star motherfucking player. Right? You better give yourself some attention. I'm tired. I go somewhere too crowded, people think I'm a celebrity. Like, yo, who are you? Like, excuse me? You somebody famous, ain't you? I guess. How can I help you? I just wanted to know who you I'm telling y'all, I get that. I get it. People be looking at me like, damn. I was in the gym the other day. The guys was looking at me like, I heard them. I had my little joints in my ear. Like, man, that's that dude with the staff. He be on TikTok. And I was just running. I heard you, little niggas. I heard you, but that's all good. But see, I put that attention on myself, and my energy, your energy flows where your attention goes, and what you focus and concentrate on, that's what's going to expand. Come on, Tasha, you know the answer to that. Come on now, level. Don't do that. You know the answer. The cats could see, the dogs, they could see into the spiritual universe. They could see simultaneously in both universes, right? So if they're drawn to you, it's because you got good energy. Your energy is right. That's why they're drawn to you. All right. I got a cat. He was a feral cat till we went and got him shots and all that shit. But I'm sitting in this chair right now. When I get out this chair, my cat gonna jump in this chair. Right now he in the garage, and wherever I was sitting at, he go jump in that chair. Right? But that's gonna happen. And you might not have been in here earlier, Tasha, but I was telling everybody that, that's one of the main chief deities we mess with in our community is Sekhmet, right? So I got Sekhmet note. Sekhmet is our main deity, right? And I made a note for it. And I'm gonna tell you something that all the gods tell me, whose name I invocate and whose respect and reverence I give for and gratitude for their assistance, is they appreciate me advocating the awareness of who they are to others and convincing other people to do the same thing. You say, why 26 on the money? You need to start, you got to start coming to the group, Dom. Somebody tell them why we got the 26 on there. Go ahead, Mother Edenberg. You seem enthusiastic enough to tell them. That's why we use the 26. Oh, that threw her off. No, that's the 26. She's the 26 Netaru. Yeah, she's the 26 Netaru. And the 26th element on the periodic table is iron. Iron is found in the hemoglobin in the blood. Sekhmet also represents blood, right? So that's the connection between the 26. And when you say 2 plus 6, I know that's what you was doing. That equals 8. Oxygen connects to the hemoglobin in our blood, and we begin to rust. That's why we got this rust-like color. Is because the iron in the hemoglobin is mixing with the oxygen in the water in our body, right? It started to affect the pigmentation. Yes, oxidation. You said 8. When you said 8, I automatically thought about oxygen. And that's hidden, which is Amun, right? Christians say amen. That's Amun. He's the 8th Netaru. Yep. And I was asking what the significance of the 26, Mother Edenberg. I know I caught you off guard, I can tell. But it's all good. There's 26 people in the room right now, as I said that, right? These are the type of alignments we be having. Now we got 25 that's dealing with Bepti. Bepti is the ascending soul, right? Every time I see 25, I know things is in an ascension. 26, that's Sekhmet. 27, that's Het Hiru, right? I think of tetrahedrons and fire. These are fire deities. Sekhmet, Bepti, Nefertum, Mantu, Bes, Bas, and Ptah. They all fire deities. So you can communicate with them through the flame, through the fire. Right? I I ain't had no lighter or nothing. And I was like, man, how can I make a fire? I need to get some fire. And SecMet told me to turn on the oven. I got an electrical oven. So I turned on the oven and I waited for that to get hot. And I generated a flame. I took one of my tea candles and left it burning and used that as a conduit to light everything else that I needed to light. And it worked, right? These is real connections, y'all. These are not speculative connections, right? We don't want to be speculative about our application. And shouts out to Shamari. I just took your thing out the Palo Santo bath. I had to Palo Santo it down, man. It's a lot of resin. It's a lot of resin. I don't know if you in there, Shamari, but for those that are interested, this is the 13 key technology pyramid. This clears the ley lines of the planet. And this is one of my latest ones I made for one of my pupils, right? Soon to be student. He about to be a student because he's taking a discourse. It got 13 copper coils on the bottom, and it also has a hidden pyramid with Herkimer diamonds in it. Yeah, it got clear quartz in there too. And you can see the Herkimer diamonds on the top there, right? No, that's lapis lazuli and larimar. Shouts out to the Lemurians. And if you look on the back there, that's red jasper, right? It's the 13 key technology pyramid. It stands over a foot tall. It's 12 inches. And that's on the website as well. Is there an alien called Nordic? No, the Nordic race that you're talking about, Scandinavians, right? Those are the Scandinavians. Yeah, and the deity in there is a Saru. That's a Saru. I tried to sit him in the middle, man, but I had too many crystals in there. He wouldn't cooperate all the way. I put too many crystals, it don't be wanting to cooperate. But that's a Saru, god of the underworld. You know, I even got my dark matter mix. You see the dark matter mix at the bottom. When you plug this into the ground, shouts out to Ricky. Ricky, we're gonna need a 13 key technology. What's the name? We're gonna need a 13 key technology testimony from you. And from you too, Diaz, with your magical ass. You're welcome, beloved. We'll see you again. Check in for me on Mondays and Tuesdays. TikTok Tuesday is the day. All right. So I'll be sending this one off today. I just took it out the Palo Santo bath for Shamari. Shouts out to Shamari. I will be sending your joint off today. I had to make sure that I had the right type of box for it so that it doesn't get damaged. Sometimes they'll try to damage these devices. They do that shit on purpose because I'm telling y'all, I am the chemtrail killer. You hear me? I am the chemtrail killer. And that's what's negating future generations from having autism, is having one of these in your environment and not breathing that crap in that they spraying in the air. Uranium and tin and a whole bunch of other little toxic shit that collect in a fiber form. You breathing it in, it come down with the rain and you be breathing that shit in. Anytime that it rains and you go outside and you don't see the vapors coming off the ground, that's not rain. I'm going to say that one more time. If it's raining where you are or wherever you may be and the sun comes out and you don't see the vapor coming off the ground, you don't see the vapors coming off the roof, That's not rain. You're supposed to be able to smell rain. You can smell it. And that rain that you smelling is actually the nitrogen. What you are more in tune with nitrogen than you are oxygen. And if you look at the abbreviation for nitrogen, you will see NTR, right? That's the natir. That's a sim from the natir, right? That's what that is. You guys got to be aware of this, man. Because these forces is here to work with you and help you. They already work with you. Whether you're aware of them or not, they're still working with you. Right? That's just the way that it go. And I got to get that disclaimer for people that may be interested in the future and getting one of these. Do not sit it next to your game console. If you got a PlayStation or Xbox, or if you have a computer, do not sit this next to it. It will fry your circuitry board in that component. I don't care what it is. It's going to fuck it up. One day, it took like my TV kept saying, you could hear it, but you couldn't see it. It took like 5 days for the screen to recover because I set it up on the on the TV one time. Right? And it was only for like 5 minutes. And I came back and got it, and the TV was black. You could hear it, but you couldn't see it. You said, when I was in Ohio, I couldn't smell the rain. Now I'm in North Carolina, I smell it. Yeah, see? That wasn't rain. And I guarantee you it's a bunch of children in Ohio that got autism. Just based on you saying that, I already know. That's where that autism come from. There's something a lot of people don't know. It's something I noticed when I came to Texas is this shit is new. Cities like Detroit, Toledo, New York, Chicago, those are old cities. Those cities are old. They're not new cities. They don't have new pipelines and new sewer systems. But the more west that you go, things is kind of new. It's a lot newer, right? It's a little bit different, you know. The sewer system runs more efficiently and with more fluidity, right? The neighborhoods are new. The cities are newer. They're cleaner, right? The atmosphere, it's a lot more clearer. The clouds are more bountiful. They don't got all of them smokestack towers and shit like that the old industrial age produced. You know what I'm saying? He said Detroit had a Grand Central Station. Oh Lord, I don't know when the last time that shit was used. They don't even got they barely got a bus system. And that little people mover is a piece of shit. I went up there after I moved to Atlanta. That was back in the 90s. I was like, man, shit, this shit is behind. Detroit was behind Atlanta. It got to the point when I went back home, even when I go back home now, that shit feel country to me. When I left, everything else felt country to me. But years later, when I returned, now that shit country. I'm like, man, that shit country as hell. Right? Shouts out to Detroit. What up, though? That's where I'm from. And I just go keep it 10K. That's why Detroit niggas, we get up and move around. We get around and get everywhere. You know, we got to see some new shit. You know, you go to places like Denver, Oklahoma, Texas, spots like Dallas, Houston. It's a little bit more newer. Katy, it's newer. Arlington, Dallas, Fort Worth, them areas is not old. That's new. This shit is new. It's like the 70s, the 80s. I know before 1978, San Antonio used to be a desert. People don't know that, but this city used to be a desert. It just starting to get a skyline with skyscrapers and shit. They just starting to get that. So it's kind of new, right? Everything new. Yeah, Dallas is dope. At nighttime, when they turn out, when the sun go down, they got lights on their skyscrapers. All the skyscrapers got lights on them and shit. Like, that's some new shit. Even Las Vegas, that's new. That's not old. There wasn't no Las Vegas in the 1800s, in the 1700s. It was in New York. It was in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot different. Exactly. Shit is brand new. Parson, Arizona. Shouts out to Arizona. That shit new. That shit it's not old. I'm older than that shit. But it's still new. I see the sewer systems being put in. See, I used to work in construction here and I would work with the Texas DOT and what you call them people? Asphalt companies and shit like that and excavation crews. I seen the the big pipelines where they got them oversized loads that come off the freeway. I done seen them get placed in the ground. I seen them develop a water system and I watched it. You see the timestamps on the cement on the freeways. That shit say 2000 or something. It don't say 1930 or 1940 or some shit. That shit say 2000 or 2013. They starting to upgrade the infrastructure of the freeway here in San Antonio. And I know when they finish stamping it, it's going to say 2026 on it. Right? Now, 30 years in the future, somebody going to say, oh, this shit been here since 2026. See that? That's what's going to be going on. Anybody else? Any other questions out there? Any questions? This mud smells so good, man. It smells just like Palo Santo. And y'all got to remember, I'm gonna post that in the tech space because I let the school go. I know some of y'all like, yo, what happened to the school? I let that go. It's like, what am I paying for here? I don't like how I interface. So we just gonna go on Google Chat. I'm gonna pay it up. If it pop back up again, you guys, I'm just giving you that disclaimer. I will be putting it down. We're not gonna stay on school, right? Don't let the school go. Yeah, I'm gonna stay up in the chat. Just go. We're gonna just keep it in the chat, but I'm gonna upload that video again to show you guys how to clean your pyramids, how to clean your pendants. If you haven't figured that out yet, I'm gonna repost that video and put it out there. Shouts out to Ricky. Yeah, what is the price for you burning ancestor money for my mom who has passed? I don't know who is your mother. You got to come into our community motivation. Are you in the Google chat group? If you in the Google chat group, put her name in there. He said, I saged my pendant. Yeah, you can sage it too. Yeah, put her name in there, but send me a private message with her name. Send me a private message in the Google chat. And I'll do it for you. But you need to get your ancestor money and do it yourself, right? It'll go a lot more further for you than it would for me doing it on your behalf. But I got you though. Yeah. Yep. And I took care of old girl too. I ain't gotta really say that, but you know what time it is, Ricky. I forgot her last name, Miss Connie. Miss Connie. I like, hey, it's for you, Miss Connie. I gotta find some I got to get some more Santa Muertes. I know I got some. I just got to. I done burnt a lot of Santa Muertes. I had somebody else that passed away. And send a petition to Santa Muerte to assist that being as they go through their transition. Yeah. But that's what we do. You know, we do that. You know, shouts out to Denali. May the ancestors be with him. I know they is. We venerate Denali all the time. The people in our community. They pouring libations. I feel them. Right? I'll be like, man, Denali, is you getting that? Here come the GMC Denali commercial. Right? Sometimes he'll pop up in the group. Like something to pop up. Like I get a notification that it's Denali, but it don't be nothing there. But I know that that's his way of letting me know that, yeah, man, I'm in tune and I got it, bro. Like I felt that. Right? But we always gonna venerate him. Same thing for Lintel. The litany of souls in our families, they're fully compensated as far as being revered and raised in the spiritual universe, right? This is a new paradigm. Our people have not done this, right? Our mothers and fathers didn't know none of this. They didn't know, right? Thanks to the information age and technology, it's kind of sped up the capability of you know, gaining access to that type of connection or information and bringing it into your proximity at a more accelerated rate than the last millennia may have held. However, you have to pay attention to those promptings and them intuitive inclinations that's brought forth to you. You can't keep disregarding them, right? Because you're going to be on the mic, right? Peace and love. What's up, Chef? You're going to be on the mic. You fucking with Dr. Ray. And when you rocking with Dr. Ray like how Ricky is, right? You're going to be a deterrent to dark forces because they've been so used to being in that environment for so long, and now here you come spreading divine light every goddamn where, right? Grounding the radiation and the toxicity and repelling negative beings. And those beings that were thriving and feeding off of that energy are starting to become malnutrition or malnutritious from being underfed, and the light is overwhelming to them. So they're going to have a reactionary response, especially if they've been nesting in a particular area for a prevalent amount of years, right? You're going to receive some type of reactionary because you fucking up their program. Like, yo, man, this nigga fucking up my program. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Ricky. Ricky probably got half his block pouring libations. You know what I mean? That's waking up those dead forces. He said that's what's happening right now. Yeah, man. Yeah. But see, you done spread your light in that area, and that darkness has to be dispelled, right? You dispelled the darkness and removed it from the environment. Some people are not up to task to do that. If you're not up to task to do that, you just need to focus on removing the darkness from within yourself. Address your own deficits. Make sure you can cover you first. Don't be worrying about what's going on with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's what you become in our community. You're going to be a pillar of light for your immediate environment and for the people in your community. Now, you don't got to go knock on their door and let them know what you're doing. Just do it. I got 2 13 key technologies in my backyard. And All my grass done grew. My grass used to be bald headed. Now now that shit flourishing. I'm like, damn, right? So I'm helping everybody in the area. You know, all of the obese people, they start walking. They walking now. Some of them running. You know, some of the ladies starting to get a figure to them. I'm like, oh, go ahead, mama. This is older lady. Man, she just slammed all the way down. I don't know what the hell she was doing. But at first she was pushing a baby buggy and she had another child with her. I guess she was babysitting. Now I don't even see the child no more. She be just power walking. And she got these radio sets on her head. And she looked like a whole different person. I had to tell her, like, yo, you look good. She's like, thank you, baby. And she just kept. But I remember when she first started walking, you know, all of the old folks, they starting to get out and walk around the neighborhood, right? One dude be coming through here, he be running like a motherfucker. But I put that energy out there. And I exercise myself too. Like I went a little bit too hard yesterday, but I don't care, man. I'm trying to get all the way nice and tight. I like to keep it tight and shredded. I don't like to get all big and muscular. I just want to be shredded, put my little European cut pants on and put my blazer on, put on some Kohans, you know what I mean? And look a little fly. You know, I like that. I started gaining a little bit of weight. That's what happened when I get in the lab. I don't exercise as much as I should. But when I'm not in the lab, you know, summertime keep me distracted like that. But when that sun come out, that's how I eat, based on the sun. The sun determines my income. Right? But you a beacon of light. And I emit that light to everybody in the proximity of my central location. And I see the difference. I go up to the gym. The gym is full of people in the gym putting in work. They be putting in that work. They just don't be in there taking selfies and shit. I ain't seen one person take a selfie yet. I don't see the cell phone in nobody's hand at the gym. Period. They be putting in that work. You got to get the blood pumping, man. Got to get the blood moving. Can't let that shit sit stagnant in your body, because then it'll start to turn into slush, right? It start turning into slush and it's just sitting there. And it's like, man, don't do that to yourself. Don't do it, man. You're going to blink and you're going to be 40. You're going to blink and be 40 and you can't breathe. None of your clothes fit no more. You got to go get a whole nother size of clothes. See, that's the crossroad. I put myself at those crossroads sometimes. Be like, man, fuck that. I'm not going up another size. Right? I refuse to get a 36. I'm not, and some of y'all like 36, that ain't big. It's big to me. I want to get down to a 31. Right? I like having a little tight waist. I love it. I like wearing my little European cuts. Not that little tight shit that these young niggas be wearing, but you know, I like to have that little slim look. And then I'll be wanting to have my my blazer to fit a certain way. Right? Nice and tight to where I could put a t-shirt on up under my blazer instead of having to put a shirt on and an undershirt and a button up. And I don't want to have to do all that. I want my shit to be tight enough to where I could, I ain't gonna go there, but where I could just put the blazer on over my bare body. No, I don't want to do that, but I do want to be able to, you know, put a V-neck on and put the blazer on. And that mug fit nice and right. You know, you look good, you feel good, and you gonna do good. What Deion Sanders said? He was like, if you look like money, if you feel like money, then you're gonna get some money. But you gotta put in that money. Like I tell my boys, You know, but hey, get some of that money. I mean, push-ups, jumping jacks, get them crunches in, work on them abs. Don't disregard your well-being, especially if you out here drinking and smoking and stuff. You better get your ass in the gym. You better sweat that shit out. Don't just be sitting on that shit. You hear me? I'll be doing you a disservice if I ain't tell you that. Shouts out to motivation. I think motivation in the workout, right? You gotta want to work out, man. I like to impress myself. I'm not arrogant, but I want to look at myself and not be disgusted. I work on my thighs. I work on my legs. I got an Instagram page where I call myself AG the Innovator. I ain't post on it in years, but if y'all go over that, you will see on AG the Innovator on Instagram. I show you the techniques, what you need to do. You got to put reps over meals, meaning if you eating 3 meals a day, you need to be doing 9 sets of reps every day to cover those 3 times that you eat, so that you don't gain weight, so that you don't gain cholesterol, to keep them calories down, right? Walk your neighborhood, 3 miles of walking, get you a waist trainer, strap your waist trainer on, and walk until your whole shirt is completely soaked. I'm telling you, you will feel better. Do 100 jumping jacks, do 100 dips, get 100 push-ups in. You ain't got to do it all in one sitting, but do it in a successional period around the same time. I'm telling you, there's no feeling better than the endorphins you get after a full workout. That's on my mama. Nothing can beat that feeling, especially if you ain't a child. All right? I got a little niece, she about 13. She could probably run around and she's like, oh man, I'm tired. It's different. She ain't gonna get that euphoria. She's still young. But somebody that's in their 30s, in their 40s, and in their 50s, you get you a full-blown workout. Yeah, it might ache because your ass ain't been doing nothing. But I'm telling you, you're gonna feel a lot better after that. And for all you guys that's struggling with your exercise and stuff, and you wondering how come some people take it over the edge, that happens because them endorphins then kicked in. They done felt the euphoric experience of their blood flowing through their body, and it becomes addictive. All right? It becomes addictive. The feeling you get from it is second to none. Intercourse can't match it. A Percocet can't match it. What's that other stuff people be taking? Them Xanaxes and all, man. None of that can touch a full workout and the feeling you get after it. You know, and you take a nap and you wake up from that nap, nothing can touch that, man. I'm telling you, nothing can touch that feeling. And that's why you be seeing them people in the gym, right? Now I'm starting to go into military workouts, starting to do military workouts. And I like the feeling that it's giving me. I can see the muscle tone in my thighs and in the back of my legs. And I like that shit. Right? I like it. I'm seeing the results from the effort I'm putting in. And I'm proving it to myself. Right? I might do 10 days in a row. I want to say I'm on day 10. And while I'm doing my reps, like that's enough reps for the day. I'd be like, fuck that, get another one in. Push yourself. Like, I can't do another set. Yes, you can. Do it. That one machine, I don't know what they call it. Let me put this down. Put this in the box here. The row machine. I took that row machine, man. I got on that thing. And my arms got tight. You know the thing you do like that? My arms got tight. I can still feel it right now, like all up in here. And I was like, ooh, I said, one more, take a breath. I took a breath. I said, you know what? Because I struggled with that last set, I'm going to do one more set. And I'm glad I did. That shit knocked my ass out, though. Like, nigga, it's time to go to sleep. I came back home. I had to lay down. And it felt so good. I took a shower, dove into the bed, slept for about 2.5 hours. I woke up. I felt real refreshed, real focused and alert, right? Motivation know what I'm talking about. Telling you, it ain't no feeling like, look at my little gun. Like, see my arm? And I don't lift no heavy weights. I don't. You can just see in the elbows a nigga be doing something. I mean, you can tell a person doing something by their elbows. This is their elbow. Them elbows ain't pointing. You playing. You know what I mean? But you got to work that shit out. Now, I'm telling you, it's nothing like it, you guys. See, that ain't got nothing to do with the stars and the quasars and the Biru and the motherships, the Anunnaki. That ain't got nothing to do with that. You hear me? These is practical things that'll make you feel better about you. You don't got to go to no book and read nothing, man. Just do that. Do you 100 jumping jacks. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself with your reps, and it'll become a lot more easier for you to prove things or prove to yourself your spiritual applications. They'll begin to validate themselves for you. You ain't even got to do shit. But you do got to do something, but you know what I mean. You don't have to reach. You don't have to stretch and try to force things to occur. It'll just come effortlessly, right? That's the way that it go. We take one more question. My battery then got drained because I had that pyramid. Before I grabbed that pyramid, I had 38%. Now that shit on down to 14%. That's just showing you how powerful that pyramid is. Shit ain't no joke, man. All right, anybody else? I'll take one more question. July the 25th, I'm going to keep on promoting you guys. We still got tickets available. And next we got the Lionsgate Portal, August the 8th. August the 8th will be the Lionsgate Portal. August the 8th at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Right? I haven't put that up on the website, but that's going to be a webinar. And our next event is going to be in Dallas. It's going to be in November. The Ethos, right? Ethos. It's going to be a 3-day event. 3-day event. I'm going to drop a lot of information on them 3 days, man. And the people that get them tickets, you're getting hit with the staff 3 times. All right? So for all my community members, remember to listen to your first mind. Negate from trusting the second mind and trust the first mind. I'm going to say that one more time. Negate from trusting the second mind and trust the first mind. Right? That's all you got to do, beloved. All right? I've been your beloved brother, Dr. Ray OrgoniteTEK, on behalf of the 1089 Tech community and the AAA Academy and alumni. I leave you guys. Peace and love. May the ancestors be with you. See you guys on the next episode. Q&A with Dr. Ray. Badu.